everyone. We're back with Cryptid Podcast. You didn't think this was gonna happen, did you? It's gonna be a part 2. Alright, well, we're back, and I'm here joined by my terrible, terrible friends.
Zach Lawson.
Noah.
How am I supposed to follow it up?
Say your name.
Hi, I'm Timber.
Alright, well, let's get it.
On November 19th, 1974, local residents in the town of Chehalis, Washington caught sight of a fiery object falling from the sky, 20 miles east near the Bald Mountain. Within a week of the event, the denizens of Chehalis would descend into a conspiracy-fueled panic following the sighting of a creature that would later be referred to as the Crazy Critter of the Bald Mountain, and the federal investigation that followed. On November 19th, only 3 days after the fiery object landed near Bald Mountain, a grocer named Ernest Smith was hunting deer when he had a run-in with a creature he described as...
It was horse-sized, covered with scales, and standing on 4 rubbery legs with suckers like octopus tentacles. Its head was football-shaped with an antenna sticking out the top. The thing gave off this green iridescent light.
Smith's reaction and the creature's strange behavior following the incident is unknown. Following the sighting on November 19th, a couple from Tacoma, Washington would corroborate his story with a sighting of their own. Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbow were driving the 60-mile stretch along State Route 7. Driving along in the night, the couple would describe seeing an eerie green glow they would later describe as being
a dull green glow by the side of the road, like a neon sign in the fog.
Okay, so there's all the information I have for you guys as of this point. What do you guys all think?
No.
Real pretty image. It certainly looks cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Little puppy.
I'd have it as a
that
pet.
as a pet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, there is in fact some extra information regarding this. So after our good friend, what was his name?
Ernest
Ernest reported his sighting, and then Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbow reported their sightings to the local newspaper. A local UFO enthusiast repeatedly called the cops.
A local
like
UFO
over and
enthusiast.
over and over again.
I think this is all based on witness protection.
Eventually, a guy by the name of William H. Waster began an investigation into the sightings. He went up into the mountains with a team of people that were reportedly quote unquote heavily armed.
That's not what I expected.
Whatever that means.
Hold on, where was this?
This was in Chehalis, Washington.
Huh.
So this is a local cryptid.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Alright, nearby.
And basically, they went up into the mountain, and they did not find anything. They found not a single thing.
Really? I thought they were gonna find like a whole bunch of cryptids up there.
Tone down the sass, mister. I'm gonna send you to Brazil.
Yeah, I thought he'd be sucking. I thought he'd be sucking Bigfoot's toes or something.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have
Up
to
in
cut
the
that out.
mountains. Yeah, thanks, Zach. Thank you, Zach. We appreciate it.
Oh my God. Okay, so now with this information, I'd like to ask you guys again. What do you think is happening here?
I think that UFO enthusiast is just wasted, like his name implies. I think he's been calling them forever, and there just happened to be something going on while he was calling them.
No, that's the thing. People kept calling the police station about it, and then William H. Waster went out because he was so sick of it that he decided to go and kill the thing so people would stop calling him.
So, moral of the story: you need something done, just call the police over and over and over until they do something.
If King of the Hill has taught me anything, it's that if you complain long enough, eventually someone will cave and you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
That's how I've existed.
So here are my thoughts on it. I think that the people that reported this sighting are completely insane. And
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, our wonderful teacher has walked into the room. Mr. Eagler, would you like to come and say a few words about our podcast before you leave?
Nobody should listen to it. It's all full of lies. It's there to deceive, and I don't know why I'm teaching these people all of this stuff, because they're out to destroy the world and line their pockets full of money.
All right. Well, there you have it.
An endorsement.
I'm
from
not
our
editing
teacher.
that out. I'm leaving that in.
The truth
Anyways.
exposed. Callan Johnson canceled on Twitter.
When's the Ancient Aliens episode on this podcast gonna come out? I want to know.
If you guys need to call me, Jerome is out here. He has my phone number.
Okay.
Got it.
If there's an emergency, okay?
All right, we'll beat him up and
Okay.
take it from him.
I'm leaving that part in so that you get canceled. Did you guys know that Timber's racist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Little known fact.
That's the first thing I
actually.
noticed.
You know, I found it a little weird when Timber came in here with the Grand Wizard outfit on, but you know now I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, I'm starting to think he goes to Ghost Club.
Yeah.
Ghost Club out in the
He
woods.
ghosted Ghost Club in the woods to come visit us.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that this was literally just a product of our man Ernest wanting to get a little bit of attention from the news because he was a sad old man, and here's why. So, as you all know, the idea that aliens would look anything like a person is pretty ridiculous, considering that they're aliens.
I'm not sure how many people you know, but most of the people I know don't have 4 legs.
Yeah, and tentacles. And
Hey, you stupid fools, let me get to it. God.
All right.
But as you all know, that's rather ridiculous. An animal that has developed for a completely different environment from ours would most likely not look anything like something on Earth. And if you guys would wish to go back and read the description again, it's kind of just a chimera of a bunch of different animals that exist on Earth. Anyone else find that a little weird?
That's a little sus,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
All right, Timber, you're out.
Go back to Ghost Club.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, but yeah, so
I mean, reading its description, it just seems like it was some guy that wasn't original enough for it to be considered like an actual organic being.
well, exactly, and around this time, monster movies like The Thing and all those other classic iconic there's an alien from outer space and he's coming to eat people movies were very, very popular at
Like
the time.
Dan Aykroyd and Conehead.
Like Dan Aykroyd and Coneheads. And so when we're here and we're reading about these stories from people, how long ago was this now? Almost 50 years?
Yeah.
1974.
Yeah, almost 48 years now. It's almost been 50 years since the sighting occurred. We have to keep in mind the pop culture that was relevant at the time. And you'll see this rather often, actually, with a lot of monster sightings and cryptid sightings especially, is that whatever is currently popular is what will be cited. Like, if we want to go back to one of the big 3 cryptids, right? We got the Loch Ness Monster. Its description has changed radically throughout the time in which it's been reported. Initially, when Scotland was first being Christianityified by the church, people reported it, which no one actually reported it. It was in a book by a guy that wanted to make himself look good. But they reported it to be something like a camel with 18 legs that crawled out of the lake and then ran into the woods.
I'd believe that.
I want to believe that.
That was
I wanna
actually
see
just
that.
Timber.
Yeah.
It was actually just me. You got me, guys.
Off
I
the
was
Ghost Club.
a Loch Ness camel all along.
Loch Ness Camel. But then over time, as the idea of dinosaurs started to become more popular, that's when we began seeing the plesiosaur-like appearance that it's most often associated with now. Which is, in my opinion, really damning for any cryptid where its image changes as it goes along, but people keep saying it's the same cryptid.
No, it just evolved into a radically different species in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's just...
Just took some
It's
inspiration
the
from
cherry
religion.
on top of the cryptid pie that just lets you know that it's not real. And while the crazy critter of Bald Mountain, as interesting as it is, it has not been cited since this initial incident. There was a massive newspaper boom about it around the time where this happened because, people were freaking out. They saw, grays fall from the sky and land on the mountain, and then 3 days later some grocer was reporting that he saw a monster up in the mountain. So of course people are going to start to freak out a bit. But even if you set that aside, you really do have to acknowledge the sociology behind it. There's that sense of mass hysteria that was going on that 100% perpetuated it, and the news did not help.
I mean, obviously not.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything big going on like that where everyone's freaking out over, an alien or whatever, it's gonna get in the news because it's interesting, and it'll get more people to read the news, and then it'll spread and faster from there.
Yeah, more publicity means more money. So, perpetuate the insanity of this small town.
Right. Any kind of press is good press, right? That's a classic saying, and it is nowhere more relevant than it is with newspapers. When's the last time you guys bought a newspaper? I'd wager it's never.
Yeah, not once in my life.
We're also all
Once.
teens.
You bought a newspaper?
Man, you're older
once?
than me.
Wow.
Like 7
He
years
is
ago.
older than you.
I'm like 170, chill.
We're all sitting here in our fossil shack, smoking
Yeah.
out of a pipe and talking about cryptids. Little did you know we're all wrinkled old men. And Mr. Eagler that came in a few minutes ago, literally a dinosaur. Literally like a basal amniote. He's the first creature that crawled out on the land.
At this point, he has no skin or flesh left. He's just a skeleton walking around the classroom.
Well, that's besides the point, and I think that we should leave the rest of this, I guess, dilemma to the viewers. Can we
I
all-
agree.
can we all do that?
Yeah.
Fully
Are
agree.
you guys feel like you're ready to move on to our next wacky creature of the
Our
night?
next
Can't
wacky,
wait.
crazy,
Oh,
weird
boy, am
creature
I.
of the night. I cannot. I couldn't be more excited.
On the night of April 21st, 1977, 3 teenagers, Bill Bartlett, Mike Mazoka, and Andy Brody, were driving home from a friend's house when Bill, who was driving at the time, spotted an uncanny figure on the side of the road. Creeping along a loose stone wall, Bartlett described a bizarrely nightmarish creature.
It had eyes like giant orange marbles, a watermelon-shaped head. Its skin looked like wet sandpaper. Its body was skinny and baby-like with long arms and legs.
The creature remained for only a few seconds before it turned around and stumbled off into the dark. Around midnight of the same day, 15-year-old John Baxter was walking home from his girlfriend's house 2 hours after Bill Bartlett spotted the humanoid. While walking down the street, John spotted the short figure of who he presumed to be a friend of his that lived down the same street. Calling out to the figure, John received no response and calls out a second time. Upon getting closer to the silhouette, it dashed off into the brush on the side of the road. Chasing it across a nearby gully, John suddenly stopped. 30 feet away, standing completely motionless, was the same creature seen by Bartlett the same night. Fearing what he had seen, John immediately turned around and made his way home.
All right. Well, that was something. Right off the bat, what are you guys thinking?
It looks like the first time a child tries to use watercolors.
Baby's first watercolor.
Yeah, baby's first watercolor, and apparently its eyes change color automatically, like red flag.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
I'm pretty sure this is just a calf, and they're just absolutely insane.
Yeah, this seemed like it could have been.
Lean in closer, you son of a bitch. Hey, Mr. Ingram, are you back?
Jerome?
What?
Drum checked in a
Drum checked in.
little while ago, but that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. They left their backpacks out there, but I don't see them out there. All right. Thank you.
This sighting really did kind of seem like something that could have been a wild animal. Like it wasn't that damning. Just something that. I can't say that, can I?
You could say damning.
I guess it's
I
not
said-
really.
I said damning
Yeah.
last
Okay.
time.
All right. It just like he saw a silhouette of something and then it ran into the bushes. Like that seems. I guess it's hard to say. If he followed it and saw it and ran away afterwards, it just doesn't make any sense to me to follow a creature into the woods and then run away when you see what it is.
That's because you're like a beta cuck and you have you like refuse to chase anything.
Yeah.
Well,
You see something mysterious, you watch Scooby-Doo and you get scared.
if I were to run after a silhouette into the forest, I would at least commit and figure out what it is, not like see it and then run away. Like, what's the point of? Am I chasing it, hoping I won't see it?
Okay. We'll continue with this point later because this is actually I agree with Timber on this that his behavior is weird. But here's some extra information for you guys regarding this case. So, as well as our good friend Bill Bartlett seeing this creature while driving home, and our other guy, if anyone remembers what his name is, John Baxter or something.
John Mulaney.
Our good friend Baxter.
No, it was not Baxter.
It was Baxter.
It was not Baxter.
Tom Baxter.
It was absolutely.
Look it up, Noah.
And-
What is it?
John Baxter.
Oh my God!
Would you look at
Timber's
that?
wrong again. Who
Are
would
you
have
talking
thought?
about a different person?
God, we're talking about the guy that followed the thing into the bushes.
Oh, that was not.
That was John Baxter.
I thought that was Bartlett.
all right. But here's some additional information for this. As well as these two reporting the sightings, there was another person that reported this.
All right.
Which she reported it significantly afterwards. So, yeah, rate the believability on that one, but I feel like I should give you guys all the information available. But a young 16-year-old girl who decided to go unnamed, which is also sus. Oh, and she saw.
Which is also sus.
She saw the creature that also near the area where John and Bill had seen it previously that night. Basically, had a repeat encounter of what Baxter experienced.
Ran to the woods, chased the thing, and then ran away.
Pretty much. Take that at your discretion. But what makes this case really interesting is less of the cryptid itself, which is, you know, to the uninitiated, yeah, like a naked baby man running through the woods. It's pretty out there, but
I live in rural Washington. I see shit multiple times. Like
exactly.
that's a standard Friday night for me.
Yeah,
watching
well, it's like,
weird demon children run into the
happens
forest.
every
Like
night in my home.
these people are they're just not savvy to how to deal with them.
But it's like, even on top of that, if you've been in the cryptozoology circle for like long enough, you will encounter so many naked men. Like, there are
Sounds like a party.
Yeah, it sounds like I gotta get into the cryptozoology.
If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, literally go on YouTube and look up top 10 rake sightings. Rake as in like the garden tool. All of those videos are just like naked dudes running around.
I don't have to go into YouTube if I want pictures of naked dudes.
If we want pictures of naked dudes, we literally just have to go into the woods behind the school and we'll
definitely find one.
We'll find, guaranteed, every single time.
Just like this is a little sus. This is a little sus. He's
Zach's
leaving
trying
his.
to look up pictures of naked people. Zach, I need you to keep the continuity of this podcast, or I might just have to banish you.
Sorry.
I'll force you to go to Ghost Club with Timber later.
No, not
Stop with the KKK. Please, God. I know I'm a serial racist. But we don't need it.
Alright, okay.
Just because I participated in a lynching.
We're done with this.
Timber, stop.
We need to go on to the possible explanations now, or this is gonna go on forever. Okay, here are some of the possible explanations. One, it was an alien. Why would an alien, which we discussed this in the last story. One, why would an alien look anything like a person?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Two, why would an alien come to Earth to run around naked?
Why would an alien come? That was funny.
Okay, but why would that happen? Can any of you, other than like the obvious kinky option, what is the possible explanation for that? There is none.
If I were an alien, all right, what would I do? Go and like try to survive on my planet, advance my society, do the normal alien things? No, I wouldn't. That's boring as hell. I would go to Earth. I would go, be naked, stand in a street, and then run into the forest.
Okay, there's that option, which now that Timber's saying it, it's starting to sound more plausible to me.
I kind of.
But here's the alternative. A lot of people, including me, think that what Bill and Baxter managed to see was actually some sort of calf. Some sort of four-legged, hooved animal, probably had a kid in the woods. Oftentimes, people mistake it for a moose, but I would like to remind you guys that this is in Dover, Massachusetts. Moose don't exist there. That is well outside of their natural range. But what does exist there, and especially in a small farming community, is cows. Cows do exist in Dover. I pinky promise. All right. Here's what I think. Here's my Callan's official explanation.
Let's hear your game theory on this.
Both Bill and Baxter encountered a newborn calf on the side of the road that night. So I'm gonna stop this really fast. I'm gonna stop this explanation. This is probably gonna get cut out, but I'm gonna talk just in case it isn't.
Noah just took his belt off.
I'm sorry, it was getting heated in here.
Noah looked me dead in the eyes and pulled his belt out and set it on the table.
It was getting a little hot in here.
You're giving me flashbacks to my stepdad. Anyways, we're moving on from that. I think some cow somewhere broke out, had a kid in the woods, and then its baby got loose and started running around. And Noah, if you would look this up for me, last I checked, cows are like fast. Like they are not slow animals.
They're pretty
despite
quick.
what we may think. I think it was something like 25 miles per hour.
They can move.
Could you look that up for me, Zach? How fast can cows run?
To support that, they say the first sighting says it stumbled into the woods. A baby calf is not going to know how to move very well.
Right.
That's a good point. I've seen
move pretty
baby,
fast, but
horses
they
run
move their
before,
limbs
and
all over the
kinda,
place.
Yeah, they stumble. I would describe that as stumbling.
Maximum speed for cattle is 25 miles an hour.
Wow,
See,
that's pretty
so
quick. What
that's-
about a baby though?
So, like, I'd estimate that it's probably like half of that.
Yeah.
Because, like, and
probably.
even then, that's like 15 miles per hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
17 miles an hour.
Which is fast.
Yeah.
Most people can't run that fast.
Though, I will admit, if I saw, like, there's no way I would mistake a baby calf silhouette as a friend of mine. Like, there's no way.
See, actually, I have something on that. It says he was leaving his girlfriend's house at around midnight. I don't know what was going on there, but I guarantee he probably didn't want people to know he's leaving his girlfriend's house at midnight. I'm thinking he needed something to cover his reason for staying out of the house so late. So he's like, oh God.
Perfect.
I've heard about this. I know what a calf looks like. I saw an alien. That's why I was out so late.
That could totally work. And I would agree with you if not for the rest of the evidence that I'm going to tell you guys. So, both John Baxter and Bill Bartlett later went to the police after being prompted, by the way. It was not their first idea to go to the police and be like, hey, I saw a crackhead in the woods. Thought you guys should know that. No, that wasn't their first idea, right? They were prompted by people that they knew to go to the police about this. Bill Bartlett and John Baxter went to different schools, lived on different sides of town from each other, and had absolutely no relation to each other whatsoever. There was not any even slight connection between the two. They both produced police sketches, which you can look up. If you look up Dover Demon Police Sketch, you will find it, that can really be freaky because they don't know each other, they never talk to each other, they don't even know that each other exists at the time of the sighting, but they both produced sketches of the Dover Demon that are like almost exactly identical.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's a bit creepy. Like that.
I can't look at this and not laugh.
It's funny. It's not.
Wait,
it's a
what?
naked baby man with the watermelon
yeah.
head.
Yeah,
Look at it.
Is that one
God.
of the police sketches?
Yeah, that's one of the police
Oh,
sketches.
oh, if that's what it looked like. I absolutely would believe baby cow. Look at that.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's running on
See-
all fours too.
You say they live on the opposite sides of the town. Dover, Massachusetts is not a big town.
No,
it is
it's
not a
not.
big
It
town
is a
by any
tiny
means.
town.
It's very small.
But they did not know each other. The police did a lot of because if you're a police officer and two independent teenagers come to them, they're like, "We saw a naked man in the woods. You guys should know about it." Your first instinct isn't going to be like, "Oh, cool, tell me about it." You're going to be like, "Why did you organize this with your friend and waste our time?" You know? So before they started investigating, they wanted to get some kind of grip on the relationship between. They had no relation. They didn't know each other. It was a completely independent thing on their ends. Here's the other thing that I feel proves the legitimacy of this. Not necessarily that it was an alien, because it was not. Are you at this time, especially in the 70s, movies about like gray aliens and stuff were like super popular. Like
Oh, yeah.
Aliens and Cowboys, Cowboys and Aliens. What's the title? It's Cowboys and Aliens.
It's Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys and Aliens. That was the like hot shit, you know? Everyone was talking about that. So
And
if
this
you-
is like right before A New Hope came out too.
exactly. So if you see something like this and you have that stuff going through your mind constantly, your first reaction isn't going to be, "Oh, it's a newborn calf." You're going to be like,
Oh my god, it's an alien!
"It's an alien!"
I listen. Maybe I'm weird.
Yes.
You
But
are.
but my first thought if I saw this would absolutely be it's an animal. I would not think alien no matter how much it's on my mind. Maybe I'm just more reasonable than these people. But
Again,
given that I live, like, if I were them, I'd live in a small farming town, I would absolutely think that's an animal.
we have to give these people the benefit of the doubt in the sense that we, as in us epic gamer Gen Zers, have grown up in a period where literally anything we want to know, we can look it up and we just have the answer.
All right,
for it.
good point.
We have much higher media exposure. We have the internet. We have cable television. They had like a box with a couple dials on it. Like that was it. That was their level of media exposure. So while we as gamers can look at something and we can look at the events backwards and be like, okay, that's silly. It's not an alien. It's a calf. You know, it's something. We also have to look at it from their perspective in their 1970s. Not a ton of media exposure. These people were teenagers, and it was very dark outside. We have to look at it like that, because I'm not going to say it's an alien, because it absolutely wasn't. Every cryptid that has ever existed is either a misidentified animal or someone making it up.
Naturally.
There is no in between. But still, it's funny to talk about. Right? But yeah, that's my personal say on it. And I guess to end it off, what I think adds a bit more to the legitimacy of this is that when this sighting got out that it occurred, it was years later, as the local news was digging through records, because they needed a story and it was Halloween, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh yeah, these guys saw a dude in the woods. And so they took the police report and they found the sketch and they're like, no, and they contact the guys. And to this day, I can't remember if it was John Baxter or Bill Bartlett. I'm 95% sure it was Bill Bartlett, said that he dreads getting calls every Halloween about the Dover Demon.
Doesn't that go for anyone who's ever reported a cryptid though? Because everyone ends up getting
just
called about it. It's just
delegitimize his
annoying.
stress, timber.
Well, that's the funny part about it. Oftentimes in these cases, if it's beyond like reasonable explanation, you can pretty easily assume that it's because the person wants some sort of attention. But they didn't give their names. They didn't give their phone numbers. The press went out and found these people and basically doxed them.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, as I suppose we're wrapping this up, I think that's where we should leave it. Do any of you guys have any final thoughts about this here sighting, this occurrence? Any commentary? Anything at all?
Let's see. I don't know. I think you wrapped it up well. It's definitely not an alien, and I think we could have decided. I think we could have said that from the beginning. We didn't debunk anything here. It was all already debunked, I think.
Well, the people in the 70s will certainly argue against it.
Well, you know what? They can let me know if they want to argue. All right? They can call me up.
Well, that was something. All right, before we end this off, do any of you terrible people have something to say about this?
Yeah, Timber just...
Jesus Christ.
I swear, call me with the racist
I
joke.
can't.
All right?
I can't
I'm only
put
a
that
little
in.
racist.
I can't put that in. All right, Noah, you got anything to say?
This has been the worst experience of my entire life.
Timber, you got anything to say?
I regret doing this. I wish I had never known any of you. When I eventually lose my job because my employers dig this up from the archives of the internet, I will be calling you and
All right,
I will
love
be
you
making you
guys so much,
compensate.
everyone that might listen. Thank you so much for watching. This production was a product of the PTHS Media Lab under the direction of Carrie Earhart and teacher David Engler. Thank you so much for watching.